Hello there, a very good evening and a very warm welcome to the news live on Channel I. I'm Nitya Sarachandran.
And I'm Dhammike Kanayaka. Coming up, your top stories. The King of Thailand passes away. The President pledges to vest the Moragahakanda Kaluganga Development Project on the people in 2018. A tense situation erupts at the opening of the Moragahahena bus shelter. A lorry plunges into a precipice, killing 3 and injuring 6. Polonnaruwa receives heavy rains, ending severe drought. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha gives verbal consent to her 8 portfolios assigned to the State Finance Minister.
Now in your top story this evening, the Moragahakanda Kaluganga Development Project is to be vested in the people in 2018, providing solutions to water shortage in Rajarata area. This was revealed by President Maithripala Sirisena when he addressed a ceremony at the public stadium in Anuradhapura today. The ceremony was organised in connection with the handing over of teaching appointment letters to 1,000 graduates. They've been recruited to provide solutions to the shortage of teachers in the North Central Province. 2,500 female school teachers were given the membership of the Employees Provident Fund and insurance entitlements for the first time at the ceremony. Children who excelled in the scholarship examination also received gifts. 25 higher national accountancy diploma holders have been recruited as assistant accounting officers at the local government institutions. Addressing the gathering, President Maithripala Sirisena noted that the construction work of the Moragahakanda Kaluganga project is being carried out efficiently and expeditiously. Massive irrigation development projects are now being implemented to provide solutions to the drinking water problems of the people in Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Trincomalee and the Mathare districts, as well as to end the scarcity of water. The implementation of these projects will help provide water for farmers. The work of the Lower Malvathu Oya Mega project in the Anuradhapura district will begin shortly. The government has already identified necessary priorities of national development as well as areas that should be developed. The government is currently planning to bring reasonable and balanced development in all these areas. The rebellion in the north and the east was the result of separatism by the previous governments to those areas. This is why we had to face a brutal war for around 3 decades. The voice of separatism and the war here were this result. He asked us to how many ministerial and deputy ministerial portfolios were given to people's representatives in the north since 1947. He also questioned as to whether those governments have identified development priorities in the country. All those who formed governments only thought about their areas, neglecting the northern province. As a result, people in the north resorted to rebellion and protest demonstrations. At the end, they took to arms. Therefore, everyone is equally responsible for not fulfilling the responsibility for civilians in the northeast. Therefore, it is wrong to take action against persons raising their voice against discrimination. There should be a reasonable development in the country while valuing freedom and democracy for a just society. Serious problems cropped up from time to time as a result of that imbalance and injustice, he said. The Women's Farmer Federation was held at the Galneva Mahavali Stadium in Anuradhapura this morning under the patronage of the President. The aim is to gain the women's participation in agriculture industry development in rural areas. 5,000 model home gardens are to be established in 25,000 villages countrywide under the Food Production National Programme during the period of 2016 to 18. Minister Duminda Dissanayake handed over the constitution of the women's farm organizations to the President. Donations were made to the Farmer Pension Payment Scheme, construction of cultivation wells and several other programs, including the payment of fertilizer subsidy compensation.
Thailand's king, Hobimul Abdolide, the world's longest reigning monarch, has died after 70 years on the throne. The 88-year-old monarch was widely revered in Thailand. He was seen as a stabilizing figure in a country hit by cycles of political turmoil and multiple coups. He had been in poor health in recent years and made few public appearances. The king's death comes as Thailand remains under military rule following a coup in 2014. The palace had warned on Sunday that the king's health was not stable Many Thais had been wearing pink to try to bring good luck to the ailing monarch. Hundreds of people had gathered outside the hospital. King Hobimul, heir apparent, is a 63-year-old Crown Prince Wairlongkorn, who does not attract the same level of affection as his father. King Hobimul, who was born in Cambridge in the US state of Massachusetts, acceded to the throne on the July 9th, 1946 after his brother, King Anand Mahidong, died. Though a constitutional monarch with limited powers, King Hobimul was regarded by many Thais as semi-divine. They looked to him to intervene in times of high tension. He was seen as a unifying and calming influence through numerous coups and 20 constitutions. However, his critics argued he had endorsed military takeovers and at times had failed to speak out against human rights abuses.
Now, thousands of business connections were made by companies participating in business-to-business meetings during the 16th edition of the World Export Development Meeting, which concluded in Colombo today. The two-day conference was co-organized by the International Trade Organization and the Sri Lanka Export Development Board. Representatives from around 200 companies across the world took part in close to 1,000 business-to-business meetings at WEDF. More than just making new business, those meetings also helped strengthen the knowledge of participants on what they need to do better, compete and participate in global trade. In addition to business-to-business meetings, WEDF hosted a series of practical policy-related discussions. Participants have decided to hold the next edition of WEDF in Hungary next year. Executive Director of the International Trade Center, Aranka Gonzalez, gave a few examples for the success of business-to-business meetings.
Australian company interested in apparel produced in Sri Lanka. French company interested in organic coconuts and spices from Sri Lanka. Hotel investors from Thailand and Switzerland interested in investing in Sri Lanka. Pakistani buyer of coconuts and spices. Indian IT company interested in outsourcing business operations to Sri Lanka. That, in my view, is again a signal of the interest in pursuing the conversation and eventually getting to a result. So this is the picture as we have been able to capture with our radar. Very interesting, and as I said, with a big potential for South-South trade in all of this, which to me is an indication that the trade policy of Sri Lanka is targeting in the right direction. By trying to open markets such as India, Singapore or China through its FTA's policies.
At the moment, what we are trying to do is, actually with the new initiative that taken from our ministry, through EDB, BOI, now we have an agency, we are trying to set up agency for development, agency for trade. So we are trying to make this conducive environment, a friendly environment for the investor.
Ring the Bell for the She Trades initiative was held in Colombo Stock Exchange today. The ceremony took place in conjunction with the World Export Development Forum. The aim of the initiative is to raise awareness about the She Trades initiative of the ITC. The She Trades initiative was launched in 2015 as part of International Trade Centre's effort to support United Nations member states achieve Goal 5 to empower all women and girls of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It aims to connect 1 million women entrepreneurs to market by 2020. Via the trades, web and mobile applications, women entrepreneurs across the world are provided with a unique platform to connect markets. The initiative allows entrepreneurs to share information about their companies, expand networks, connect and internationalize. It also helps corporations include more women entrepreneurs in their supply chain. Ring the Bell for the She Trades initiative at CSE today was led by Executive Director of ITC, Aranka Gonzalez, State Minister Sujivasena Singha, EDB Chairperson, Indra Malwatta, and Chairman of the CSE, Vajra Kulathilaka, was also present. Now, the Foreign Minister, Mangala Samaraweera, says the government takes every possible action against torture as the present administration will never condone any such acts. He added that the support of civil society was essential to combat torture.
The minister was speaking at an event organized to hand over a report against torture compiled by around 20 civil organizations, including Right to Life Human Rights Center. This joint report was officially presented to the government to submit it to the UN Committee session against torture to be held in Geneva in November this year. It contains the manner in which torture takes place in Sri Lanka and recommendations made by the Committee Against Torture to the government for the purpose of preventing such acts.
This report we launched today is a manifestation of that same sense of commitment to make your country better for everyone, especially when you are in government, and your work helps us in government to take the steps that are required to make the necessary administrative and legal reform and focus on the necessary technical capacity building and training requirements to eliminate this crime of torture. Take action where the crime is committed and provide assistance in recovery and redress of victims. As we all agree, torture is a crime, torture is a terrible crime. It is prohibited under all circumstances without exception. Torture has no place in a civilized society, and torture cannot be justified in any situation or under any circumstances, whether it's national security, fight against terrorism, threat of armed conflict or a public emergency. As a government that stands for good governance, rule of law, upholding and promoting and protecting human rights, we are committed to eliminate torture and take action where required. And this includes the need to create far greater awareness than which exists today at all levels of society, beginning from the school curriculum. The government is committed to zero tolerance for all forms of torture and other cruel, inhuman or degrading treatments or punishment. Yet, this is not a battle the government, as was again mentioned earlier, can fight alone. We need your help.
We are in the process of streamlining our inquiry and investigation processes, which includes training for staff, mechanisms to ensure staff accountability, formulating manuals and procedures. For instance, when a complaint of torture is received, what are the steps that have to be taken? When officers go to the police station and they notice marks of physical injury on a detainee or a prisoner, what do they then have to do? So we have also, our review, we have found that there have been long delays in dealing with a number of torture complaints, and of course we are in the process of taking action to rectify this.
Where, for instance, most recently the National Human Rights Action Plan, where there is a certain parity and friendship and trust that exists between the civil society representatives and the government representatives, which was not there in previous times, when we always felt that there was a distance between us and those in the government. So that is one very positive area. The second positive area I see is at a more macro level, the relationship that the government has with other political parties, especially with the Tamil and Muslim parties. And once again, for the first time virtually in our country's history, there is a relationship of trust and friendship and hope for the future. So that also is extremely good.
Now, the number of deadly accidents are increasing at an alarming rate daily in the country. Over 2,700 deaths were reported in road traffic accidents last year. The police said that 3.9 million cases relating to accidents were filed in courts last year. Details of certain minor motor traffic accidents were revealed following the inspection of CCTV visuals. The number of deaths in road accidents increased by around 300 annually.
Now then, 3 people were killed and 6 others sustained injuries when a small lorry in which they were travelling plunged into a 300-foot precipice at Clanton Estate, Nanue yesterday. A speeding lorry plying from Nuwara to Nanue plunged into the precipice at around 6 p.m. yesterday. Driver and another person have died on the spot. Police said that a critically injured person succumbed to his injuries in the early hours of today. Nanue police said that the reason for the accident was the excessive speed and reckless driving. The 3 bodies of the deceased are lying at the Nuwara-Eliya-based hospital for post-mortem.
Now, the Polonnaruwa district received heavy rain this evening, ending the prevailing severe drought, reported our correspondent in the area. Rain started in the district, confirming the Met Department's prediction today. Our correspondent reported that Madaragiriya, Diyasenpura, Ambagaswava, Hinguragoda, Minneriya, Giritale, Jayantipura, Polonnaruwa, Kaduwala, Galamun areas received heavy rains for over 1 hour this evening. These areas were experiencing heavy rain after 3 months. Now, public health inspectors attached to the Moratuwa Municipal Council have filed cases against 6 errant traders for selling non-hygienic food items at their trade stalls. A sudden raid was conducted by the Moratuwa Municipal Council public health officers to detect trade stalls selling non-hygienic food items in the area. They said that large numbers of flies have been reported in several food stalls, canteens and restaurants. A large stock of food items bad for consumption were destroyed during this raid. The inspection of trade stalls was carried out by a team of public health inspectors and medical health officers on the directions of the Moratuwa Municipal Council Commissioner MMC Kemanam Peruma.
Sri Lanka and Bangladesh exchanged views on provincial council and the local government structure of both countries, task of local government ministry and its services to the people. A special workshop organised for the purpose was held at Sri Lanka Institute of Local Government in Colombo today. The main aim was to provide more quality service for the people in both countries following the exchange of views on local government structure of both nations. Secretary of the Ministry of Local Government and Provincial Councils, Kamal Padmasiri, Director of Sri Lanka Institute of Local Government, Sujiva Samaravira, and officials of both countries were present.
Now, a farmer in Katulanda, Dekatana is experiencing to cultivate a traditional local paddy variety, Swanjata alvi. He has already cultivated this indigenous paddy variety, Swanjata alvi, in his home garden. The specialty of this paddy variety is its high-yielding ability. A single paddy plant can provide a yield of more than 100 kilograms of paddy. The 12-feet paddy plant provides a yield every 6 months. The farmer Bandula Dharmasena said that this rice variety will be introduced to the local market soon. The price of a kilogram of this variety is about 400 rupees, he said.
An international seminar on multi-subject streams at Postgraduate Institute of Sri Lanka, Jayawardhanapura University began in Maravilla yesterday. Several local and foreign scholars attended the seminar. Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugam was the chief guest. Dean of the Postgraduate Institute of Sri Jayawardhanapura University, Senior Professor Hemanta Ranasinghe, explained on university research frame and its future path. She also emphasized the importance of research and new innovations for economic development in the country. Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Sampath Amaratunga, also graced the 3-day seminar.
I have a particular interest in Vidyodaya University because I was one of the early lecturers there. I was a part-time lecturer, and we established the Faculty of Management Studies. Many of my students today are in very distinguished positions. Several of them are in the cabinet. So I'm very glad to be here.
Now, a mother and father make an innocent appeal to philanthropists to save the life of their 2-year-old ailing child. Methuja Tsitsara Ratnaika, a 2-year-old child, lives in Mahakachakodi village in Vaunia. He is suffering from a liver disease due to germ infection post-birth. His parents have searched for a cure in all hospitals, including the Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital. Doctors of the Lady Ridgeway Hospital advised them to perform a liver transplant for the child in India. The parents are currently in need of money to take their child to India as advised by doctors. They appeal to philanthropists to help them cure their child. For those willing to make a cash donation, money should be deposited to the bank account number 7114362 at the Bank of Ceylon branch in Bogaswawa or the account number 040-200-160-056-158 at the People's Bank, Vaunia branch.
And now it's time to have a look around Asia with Asia in a minute.
Three wild elephants were rescued from a reservoir in Yunnan province in southwestern China after being stranded for more than 2 days. Ten more armed attackers have been killed in Myanmar's western Rakhine state on Wednesday during a government operation aimed at clearing terrorist assailants from the Kaito Yoenping village. China has included 2 lunar pulse explorations into its moon probe project so as to lay a good foundation for further detections. Hundreds of people take part in an interstate boat race competition in Bastar district of India's central Chhattisgarh state to promote tourism.
Now, the Sri Lanka Yala National Park is currently being modernized under the emerging Yala project. Several development projects at the Yala National Park have been vested with the people today. The fully modernized Palatupana Park entrance official residence of workers in Yala Rangers Post, built at a cost of 19.9 million rupees, was opened today. The construction work was completed within 5 weeks by the National Machinery Institute. The emerging Yala project is being implemented on a concept by Minister Gamini Jai Vikrama Pereira and under the direct supervision of Minister Sajid Premadasa. 7 loans amounting to 8.8 million rupees were given to 40 officials and workers currently serving at the Yala National Park.
The ceremony was held today to commemorate the 132nd birth anniversary of Dr. C.W.W. Kannangara, hailed as the father of free education. The late C.W.W. Kannangara was instrumental in providing education opportunities confined only to the privileged classes at the time to the whole child generation. He held the education ministerial portfolio from the 8th of July 1931 to the 25th of September 1947. C.W.W. Kannangara birth anniversary commemoration ceremony was held opposite Kannangara statue near the Education Ministry in Batramulla. A student garlanded the C.W.W. Kannangara statue while the State Minister V. Radhakrishnan paid floral tributes. Education Minister officials and school children were among the large gathering attended the ceremony.
Now, a tense situation was reported at the Moragahena bus shelter premises today when MP Vidura Vikramanayaka forcibly opened the bus stand. Minister Patali Champikaranavaka was scheduled to open this morning. The opening ceremony of the Moragahena bus stand was scheduled at the auspicious time of 9:30 a.m. today. Parliamentarian Vidura Vikramanayaka and a group of his supporters have forcibly declared open the bus stand before the arrival of Minister Patali Champikaranavaka. Megapolis and Western Development Minister Patali Champikaranavaka, who arrived at the scene of the incident, unveiled the commemorative plaque vesting the Moragahena bus shelter with the people.
The need to pay more attention on the safety of labourers who contribute immensely for the country's development has been highlighted. Labourers are extending a significant service in the field of construction. However, their safety should be further ensured. Accidents while on duty and disease relating to the nature of work in the labour field have been gradually increasing annually. According to Labour Department reports, deadly accidents per year while engaging in labour work were around 70 to 80. 30% of such accidents was reported in the field of construction. A national programme on safety of the workers in the field of construction was held in Colombo today to minimise this situation. A special feature was the conducting of this program at the Colombo Altair worksite at the Labour and Trade Union Relations Ministry. State Minister Ravindra Samaravira was the chief guest at the ceremony conducted to coincide with the National Vocational Safety and Health Week.
Now in your stock update this evening, the All-Shares Price Index closed at 6,487.13 points, dropped by 23.05 points, and the S&P SL20 Index closed at 3,615.48 points, also dropped by 22.60 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Turnover is over 370 million rupees.
News from around the world, and we start in India. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha has given verbal consent to her 8 portfolios being assigned to the State Finance Minister O. Pannirselvam while she recovers in hospital. Her party, the AIDMK, made the revelation yesterday evening. Party spokesperson C.R. Saraswati told media that Jayalalitha was reading newspapers and recovering fast, according to doctors. It was rebuttal to opposition parties who asked just how Jayalalitha had advised the state's governor, Vaidyasagar Rao, to assign her portfolios or departments to Pannirselvam. The loyal politicians stood in for Jayalalitha twice before when she stepped down as chief minister over corruption cases against her. M. Karunanidhi, the chief of main opposition party DMK, sought to know whether Jayalalitha had signed a file to advise the governor on the changes. He also asked why visitors have not been allowed to meet Jayalalitha. Time for sports. Now, the All-Ireland School Athletics meet began at Bogamra Stadium in Kandy today. The Education Ministry has organised the athletics meet for the 32nd time in a succession. 5,121 athletes of 1,452 schools are participating in the meet. The inauguration ceremony was held today in the presence of Education Minister Akila Viraj Karyavasam and several people's representatives. Roshan Dhammika Ranatunga of Godekavela Kularatna Mahavidyalaya and Rumesh Ratnayak of St. Joseph's College, Kegul, lit the torch of the athletics meet. The concluding ceremony of the 5-day athletics meet will take place next Sunday at 4 p.m.
Now in your weather update this evening, the Met Department says that atmospheric conditions are turning favourable for afternoon thunder showers. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the eastern, northern, north central, central and sub-Ragama provinces after 2 p.m. and may spread to other provinces later. A few showers will occur at a few places in the western and sub-Ragama provinces and in the Gaul, Mathura districts in the morning too.
And that's all from us at Rupavahini Channel English News. Thanks for watching.
Good night.